what are the most pressing challenges that you see both as a higher ed experience as a whole, but also at your particular institution for your particular students?
Ooh, Katie, that's a good question.
Starting big here.
What'd you say?
We're starting big.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is a loaded question, but I appreciate the question. So I would say one of the biggest challenges, and I'm going to start broad, just in higher ed and with students, that students are juggling multiple responsibilities. So if it was just, I want to come to school, take classes for 2 years or 4 years, graduate, and then get that next job or that next promotion, it would be easy. But our students are kind of like a juggler that has on those plates on their arms, and they're on this unicycle, and then they have something, that they're toggling on their head. They're managing several different things that I mentioned earlier, right? Their jobs, their outside of school commitments, but also who they are outside of being a student. So it's mitigating those other responsibilities outside of school on top of school. But in addition to these changing times, Katie, these times are consistently and actively changing when we're still in the midst of COVID, right? And so their employers are changing the work requirements. And so they have to adapt to that. They also have to adapt to, some of them are parents. So if they have childcare and if they have to teach their own children, because they're now the teachers with virtual schoolwork, but then also making sure that they are, I think, balance is a myth and harmony is a must. So how to make everything in harmony, because they have a partner, they have other responsibilities, but they also want to make sure that they're not burnt out themselves, because if they're off on school, then that means they're on at home. If they're off at home, that means they're on at school. And if they're off at school and work, when do they find time for family? So it's navigating all these different nuances in these changing times. And what does that look like? And how do you make sure that you're encouraging your students to do the work, but also you're doing the work as an advisor too, because that burnout happens on both sides. So how can we be compassionate towards each other as humans? How do we move forward in these ever-changing times? And how do we give our students what they need? So let's toggle back to Del Mar College. That was as a whole, what our students are dealing with. But particularly at Del Mar College, most of our students are first generation. The average age of our student is 24, because of over 25% of our students are dual credit students. So we have an array of students, even though the average age is 24, the majority of our students, I would say that quarter portion are dual credit students, but they're also that non-traditional student, whatever non-traditional is anymore, right? And so their needs change based off of who they're coming in as. And so we have some students that deal with food insecurity. So the beauty of knowing what our students need is that we don't just grapple surveys or have focus groups. We then take those moments to hear their voice and amplify their voice, and then figure out strategies to meet that need. So since our students deal with food insecurity, we now have a food pantry that we've had for a couple of years, and it's only expanded. So it's dry foods and foods that need to be refrigerated, and they can come twice a month. And so that's something that we've had for our students that has been a need. Also, a lot of our students need that guidance. And it's not just, okay, when I was in school, here's your course catalog. You go to your advisor to register or get approval if you want it over full time, and that was it. You were on your way. But now our students really need somebody that's going to co-create, co-plan, be their person. And that's what advising does. So they don't have to go around the mulberry bush or do the Walmart point. Go over there. They want to be connected to a human being. And that's what advising does here at Del Mar College. They're connected with a faculty advisor, a My Academic Plan advisor, a primary role advisor, which we call at Del Mar embedded advisor, and that's their person. So if they need tutoring, They can come to their person who is the advisor, and they're like, you know what? I'm really struggling in calculus. How can I get the help that I need? That advisor will then lead them to the math learning center that we have on campus that also provides online tutoring, because we also know that we have students that are food insecure, but also transportation might be an issue as well. So the beauty at Del Mar College, if you have a Del Mar ID, which all students do, you can have a free RTA bus pass, free of charge. That's part of your tuition. Also, we know that students, like I said earlier, are managing several different things, and that can really weigh down on you mentally. And so we have a counseling office that not only sees students in person, but the counseling office also does telecounseling. So we can meet students where they are. When they don't have the transportation to get to a counseling appointment, they can still meet their mental health wellness through meeting a licensed professional counselor virtually or face-to-face. We also have tutoring for students, right? Because since we're a community college, we're an open access school. So it's not contingent on you having an SAT or ACT score or being the top 10%. At the community college, we get the opportunity to meet students where they are. And so that means sometimes students haven't been to school in 20 years, Katie. 20 years. And so it's a little scary jumping back into something that's been unfamiliar for that length of time. So we have the Stone Writing Center, we have the Student Success Center, which we have, I'm so proud, we have virtual reality tutoring. So can you imagine taking anatomy and physiology, since I was a bio major, that's why I'm using that reference, and you're studying the human body, and you're studying where is the kidneys, where is the pancreas, where is the heart, where are the lungs, but you can see it by putting on these 3D glasses, and you can see those figures form in the body, and then it resonates because we know that our students are different types of learners. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory, some people are tactile. So the beauty at Del Mar College is we hear the student's voice through the focus groups and the surveys, and then we either enhance what we already have or start what we need to start for our students' need as they're managing all these multiple responsibilities, but also making sure that we meet how they learn best, but knowing that they have a point person, which is their advisor. In my eyes, I'm kind of biased. They also have the faculty, because faculty have more seat time with the students, right? So they're in classes with them, they're in clinicals, they're in internships, but they also have a community of advisors as well.